Attention all you rule breakers, you misfits and troublemakers, all you free spirits and pioneers, all you visionaries and nonconformists. Everything the establishment has told you is wrong with you is actually what's right with you. You see things others don't. You are hardwired to change the world.
Okay, here we are today at the UFO Congress in Scottsdale, Arizona, and I'm talking to Sasha. Sasha, tell me about yourself.
Hi, I'm Dr. Sasha Lessin. I'm a student of Zechariah Sitchin, who gave us the information in great detail about the Anunnaki, who 450,000 years ago, they came to Earth to get gold, which they wanted to change into white powder of monoatomic gold and float into their atmosphere to protect it as it goes through its huge orbit of 3,600 years around Nemesis, the pair star. It's a subdwarf, and then comes around Solaris and passes through the inner solar system between Mars
This
and
is
Jupiter.
Nibiru.
This is Nibiru. And they came to Earth. Their miners mutinied about 300,000 years ago. And their chief geneticist said, look, we'll let our miners go and I'll adapt our genome to Earth using some genes from Homo erectus. Homo erectus was an intelligent hominoid species, the ancestor of modern Sasquatch, that was here. And so they made mind slaves, and they kept breeding with the prettiest girls in each generation. And basically, they settled the whole world. They had a thermonuclear war among their factions, and the war, first of all, they bombed Sodom and Gomorrah. The Bible has it as though they're sinning cities, but the sin was they went against Enlil, Yahweh, and sided with Prince Marduk. And that's what that was really about. But anyway, they bombed Canaan, which had gone over to Marduk.
And I hear there's a lot of evidence that actually validates that.
Absolutely.
They have the green glass
That's called tephra. In the Sinai is where they had their big runway on the Sinai Peninsula. And so they bombed the Sinai Peninsula, they bombed the south end of the Salt Sea, which became the Dead Sea. It's dead to this day. But the fallout blew over Iraq, Sumer, except it spared Babylon, which is Iraq, which is way far to the north. And so Prince Marduk got charge of Earth. And then later on, when Nanar, his other name is Sinai was named after him, became the king of Nibiru. He came back and had his men. He's Allah. And so these two Anunnaki factions have infiltrated the Illuminati and the people that are running Earth, and basically keeping us fighting against each other, so we never realize there's only a few hundred of them and there's millions of us. And but recently the Anunnaki have had a change of rulership, and Galzu from the Federation, the higher ups, have basically said, knock it off. These people are going to extinguish themselves unless you actively rescue them. So Enki has been sent back, their chief scientist, and Marduk, who has been, and Nanar, whose people have been assassinating each other, have had a truce, and they say, and Marduk says he is contrite and wishes to make amends. And the Anunnaki are here. When Thoth, Ningishita, left Earth in 311 BCE, he said, I'm going to return December 21st, 2012, and I'm going to bring some 20 of my colleagues with us, and we're going to clean up this mess as much as we can. And there's been a number of meetings with the Anunnaki and the other skyfaring people that are concerned with Earth, with the Linkage Institute, of which I'm associated.
So do you think they're going to come back in our lifetime?
They are here. They're here.
I mean, actually overtly show up.
They are here. They are overtly showing up. Michael Lee Hill is the embodiment in modern times of Enki. They have a haploid group. The Americans that are part of this code array are in the Lake Erie area. They intermarried with the Iroquois, the Northern Iroquois, and they got the League of the Hosowani is what they.
It's strange too, because the Iroquois, the Sioux, a lot of the Indian names have a reptilian snake ancestry attached
Absolutely.
to
And
it.
so this is the clan. Enki's symbol is the snake, which is a symbol of our DNA, because they're geneticists.
So is all this in your book?
It's all in my books. Anunnaki, False God.
And what's your website?
My website is Enki Speaks, and we have extensive pictures and evidence. This book is divided into the story and the evidence, and there's a chronology. This summarizes all of Zecharia Sitchin's works and takes it a lot further too, because while most of the Anunnaki left after this fallout ruined Sumer, not all of them left. Some of them stayed, and they continued to influence events on Earth, and a lot of it focuses around Jerusalem, which is where they had the mission control for the Sinai spaceport. When that was bombed out, most of the Anunnaki went to their spaceport at Tiahuanaco, took off from Nazca, brought as much gold back as they can. On the wall at Pumapuca, where you leave Tiahuanaco and move toward the runway, there's friezes of all the different spacefaring races that pass through Tiahuanaco. And so there's grays, there's coneheads, there's pearheads, and
Many different races.
There's many different. So the Anunnaki did not really go into some of their battles with some of the other races that have been underground. There's a huge underground. Of course, the Nazis knew about it and had allied with the reptilians, and for many years they've been taking promising humans, and they have a whole inner Earth that you can enter.
Well, I'm looking forward to reading your book.
Cool.
Absolutely. And another thing we want to talk about, Sasha, is a lot of people are concerned about Nibiru. There's a lot of, the Vatican, the Swiss people, the Americans, we're all putting these infrared telescopes at the Antarctic.
Yeah.
And they're pointing them for a reason, because that's where Nibiru is supposedly coming in, Planet X, whatever you want to call it. What do you have to say
Well, it's
about
way
that?
more than people are talking. We have actual photos from Soho that before NASA gets hold of them, from all over the world. My colleague, Robert Evans, has been posting these pictures. It looks like two suns. Nibiru is definitely within eyesight. There's nothing to be alarmed about. It's just going to be a fantastic visual display. The Lincoln Institute and other skyfaring people have created a situation to protect us. If you look in the area of Solaris, our sun, you'll see, with even binoculars, you'll see that there are, and especially with cameras, you'll see that there are motherships, something that we would call a mothership, a band of lights, and you'll see a flare coming from the sun, and it looks like something coming in, and something shoots out from this thing I'm calling a mothership, and it's gone. Some people have said this is those ships getting their energy from the sun. Other people are saying that no, some of them, they've been zapping detritus that comes in. And see, it's not just Nibiru and its satellites that come through, but there's all kinds of comets and asteroid bits and stuff that comes through too. And some of the really terrible things that have happened on Earth, like the Moses' flood, which was part of this eruption of Stromboli and caused the sinking of the Minoan fleet. This is all due to something called the Lagrange points of Nibiru. Andy Lloyd, an astronomer, says that right now we may not even be seeing Nibiru. I think it's Nibiru. He says what we might be seeing is 190 degrees from Nibiru. There's bits left over for where Nibiru struck into Tiamat, the proto-Earth, and knocked out the asteroid belt. And some of this stuff always stays as far from Nibiru as possible. It's called a Lagrange point. So as Nibiru moves around its orbit, this stuff moves around too. And so that Moses' flood that I just described of Egypt came probably from asteroids or a huge comet that were associated with the Lagrange points. There's also detritus in the Lagrange points of 90 degrees on the orbit too. So, but right now it is Nibiru, and Nibiru is here. A.R. Borden and the Linkage Institute have published stuff about how they were able to bend time, space, and get us past any danger that so that we would be on the other side of the sun when Nibiru passed through in a way that would cause gravitational disturbances, so that the fears of a reversal of the sudden reversal of the poles seems to me to be a fearful projection and not real. But my advice is, let's imagine that the coming of Nibiru might mean disaster and we'll all get killed, or it might not. I think it's better to assume that it might not and have a good time while you're here, and then if you're dead it won't matter anyway, and if you're alive it won't matter either, so have a good time.
Yep. All right, thank you very much.